The easy section, I thought, what are those childhood books that we've loved that are classics that have carried over time, even though they're not on TV necessarily, or they've had movies made on them. What are classics that parents love that are still really good books for children, that have the kind of quality that we want children to read over and over and over? And therefore I picked Dr. Seuss and Curious George, Berenstain Bears, Big Red Dog, Amelia Bedelia, and like the first section is a picture of a woman reading to the children, and it has a sign over it that says enjoy reading with a groundhog. Well, that's because it moves from how books are made and about literature into holiday books. Then the next one goes into folk tales and fairy tales, so I have Humpty Dumpty. It moves into some of our educational books, which has a big theme in science. There's the solar system. So I picked a picture of the Milky Way. One of our teachers, Miss Talbot, had created some animals out of paper mache, and she had 3 dinosaurs. So I had that sort of placed as a 3D right in front of the solar system because that's the same shelf as the dinosaurs. Then there's an area that juts out with animals on it, and so each of the shelves with the animals, I've grouped them, and I have either a puppet or a stuffed animal. So I don't have murals of it, but I have that animal represented. As you go around to the opposite side, it moves into the sports book, so I have a picture playing baseball. Then we move into the biography section, so I have George Washington Carver bent down with Little Boy, which is actually out of one of the books about George Washington Carver. Then there's an empty section. That section is actually, they ran out of time painting because they came back in 3 separate sections, and it took a really long time. But that section right there is supposed to, we're going to be, in the future, we're going to have a picture of a world with all the children, of the world, like in a circle around it, because those are our countries. And then the last section that we're working on right now, we're actually redesigning the spines of the book. It's another project. I have the state of Florida because it's pointing down to all the states, the different states of Florida. So when a new child comes, or when I introduce it to the children every year, I help them understand that each of those sections are there for a reason. And I've also made little posterettes on each of the shelves that show the pictures that are on the spine of the books as a way to help them find not necessarily what they're looking for, but what they're not looking for. So that they're like, oh, I didn't know we had books on. You know, I've had several discovered we have Greek mythology, or that we have books on unexplained things, or illusions. And they'll be like, well, what is this symbol for? And then they'll realize what it is. And I want to check that out. So the kids don't see the spines of the book, and a lot of our books are older, and the print's worn off, so you really can't even tell what the book is. One of the ideas that we had was to also make it a 3D effect. So do you see ruffles or the feather on Humpty Dumpty? You'll notice over in Amelia Bedelia we have a real book, and feathers in my hair. We have a kite for thing 1, thing 2. One's actually fallen down. It was really flying. We have a bow in Sister's hair for the Berenstain Bears. So we're trying to give it like a 3D effect. So we have a pickle that we need to make. At the top circle up there, that's going to be where the caterpillar becomes the big butterfly. I've got it made. I just have to help someone to get it painted. And then over in this far section over here, just to call attention to that, I thought about using the door as a trunk of a tree, and it went up into a tree house. And so it's just the transitional section where the kids move from the easy books to the chapter books. And the Magic Tree House is so popular that we call it the treehouse section, and they go over into the tree area to see if they can find a transition book that we started. It really hasn't taken off like I thought it would. It's called Series Sign Up, and the kids actually gave me the idea for it. They come in and go, Miss Palmer, do you know I've read all the Spider books? Or Miss Palmer, did you know that I only have 2 more Jenny B. Jones and I've read the whole thing? And so I was thinking, well, they're reading a series of books. So we have this thing called Series Sign Up. And what they do is to try and get them to incorporate that reading into writing. They can read any series they want. They write up a little bit to let me know about the different series, and then they turn it into me, and I check off on the back, yes, you did. And you see your daughter's pointing to the one she did. And then I check off, yes, they convinced me that they read the series. They can't write about just one book. They have to write out several. We started this year. Somebody donated 100 Beanie Babies to the school. They said, can you use them? And, of course, I'm never going to say no because I didn't know what I'd use them for. At first, I thought about using them for prizes. I thought, no, we're going to start a program that's called Book and a Buddy. And so of course, most of the Beanie Babies were bears. And so I went and found all of the nonfiction books that had the first grade level on it. So I started pulling them, and I matched them with a bear and put it on the back. So now they can check out the Book and the Bear. Now, the